Doing car-to-car, otherwise known as rollers, is one of my favorite parts of my job as an automotive photographer. I literally love doing rollers. It is so much fun. It is such an adrenaline rush. And when you do it safely, the key word being safely, it is really, really cool. It is a great way to get interesting and unique content for your clients. So we're going to quickly talk about a couple of the key parts of doing rollers and how to do it well, how to make sure that your pictures are interesting so that you don't have to do a ton of Photoshop after the fact, but also do it safely. So let's first talk about safety, because safety is the most important thing. If you're doing this on a open road, like a public road, you need to make sure you know the laws for that state. You need to know the laws for that city. You need to know the laws for that region or country that you're in. It is not the same everywhere you can go. You need to make sure that you are aware of what the laws are so that you don't get yourself in trouble with the police. The best place to do a roller is honestly on a racetrack like this one. And honestly, when you have a race car to do it with, that is the best thing to be able to do. But if you don't have a race car and you don't have a racetrack, well, you can make the best of it using really safe open roads. Go somewhere where there's nobody around. You know you're not gonna have any issues with other cars out on the road with you. Like, you can do it safely. The second thing about safety is you really honestly should always wear a harness. Every single year I see some dip on Instagram literally falling out of a car or a truck doing rollers. That should not happen. Like, literally, it is really, really hard to do that. Make sure you have a driver that knows what they're doing. The person driving your car, make sure the driver of the car that's following you knows what they're doing. It is really, really important. I do not want to end up as roadkill underneath of a race car or a road car, so make sure that you are strapped in and you have a driver that you trust in the car with you and behind you. Okay, so now let's talk about the actual act of taking pictures doing car-to-car. So the best thing to have is a wide lens. This is a 35mm. I also have a 24mm on my other camera. Depending on how many cars you have in your shot, sometimes you need wider than this. I've done rollers with a 14 to 24mm lens where I need all 14mm to get all 5 of the race cars or 8 of the race cars that we have in the group photo. I need to get all of them in, and when they're really close to you, you kind of need a wide lens to be able to do it. Now, that is the second part of it. You need the car that is following you, or cars that are following you, to be close. You want them like right up your butt. I have a lot of experience with a lot of pro drivers, and they know how to drive a race car. They can put it in a position where it's safe for them, safe for us. And if you're moving at a constant speed, it is okay to have the car, the race car, or the road car, right here. Again, you want to have this all done under closed course conditions. That is the best place to do rollers. But if you are moving at a constant rate of speed down the straightaway at like 40 miles an hour, and the car's right here, these are professional racing drivers. They know what they're doing. I know what I'm doing. The driver in the cars knows what he's doing. So again, the more professionals you can put in place, the better it is, the safer it is. But I've done some really cool ones where you have the car right up against the other car. Again, there is such a thing as too close. I don't really want to use 14mm if I can help it, where I have basically a distorted, huge, like fisheye looking type picture. The best angle for me is like a 24mm, maybe a 35mm. Again, you can put polarizers on your cameras and lenses. You want to make sure you cut as much glare out of it as possible. You're not always doing it at amazing times of day. You can get really nice, cool light at sunset, but it depends on what you're doing, when you're doing it, where you're doing it. There's a lot of variables to it. But having the car right up next to your chase car, the camera vehicle, does help a lot. So the closer the better. You don't want them, 100 feet away. You don't want them 50 feet away. You don't even want them 20 feet away, because the sense of speed gets better and more dramatic the closer they are. So yeah, you just kind of want them close. Now, in terms of settings and shutter speeds, I will usually have my camera in full manual mode where I am in control of all of the settings for it, or I will choose to be in shutter priority where I'm choosing the shutter speed, which is the most important thing you can really be dictating in terms of a car-to-car shoot. I want to be in control of the camera, and if I'm not in full control of the camera, I definitely want to be choosing the shutter speed it's using, not just the aperture. The aperture I almost don't care about in terms of the settings, but kind of, sort of, but mostly. But with car to car, you need to really remember that there are basically 4 points of contact when you're doing a one car rolling photo shoot. You have the race car sitting behind you. That thing is moving around, bouncing around the curbs, different pavement. You know, that is a moving object. You have yourself sitting in the back of the van, bouncing around. You have your camera, which is being held by you, but it is also moving, you know, separately to you. And you also have your car bouncing around on the road, on the racetrack. So there's 4 different points of contact. For every car you add, you're adding another one. So to get a sharp picture with, let's just say, 3 cars in the background, you now have 7 points of contact that are moving all independently of each other. And to get a sharp picture of all 7, you might have to shoot a lot more pictures. So that is really one of my biggest tips, is to shoot a lot of pictures. Have a full memory card available to you. Have a backup memory card. Have backup memory cards in your pocket if you can reach them really quickly, to be able to shove it in your camera in case you do burn through a memory card. You want to shoot a lot of pictures, because the law of averages says if you shoot a bunch, you're going to get a bunch. And again, when you have 4 or more points of contact with you know, the car and yourself and your camera and, you know, your car that you're sitting in, it just makes it hard. So yeah, just shoot a lot of pictures, and it's okay to do so. Don't let any of the old fuddy-duddies tell you that it's not okay to shoot a bunch of pictures. They're not the ones sitting in the back of a car shooting a Lamborghini race car. I am. So let me tell you what you should be doing. But I love doing car to car. It is really, really exhilarating. It's such an adrenaline rush. It never gets old, but you do need to do it safely. So please, please, please make sure you're doing it, you know, according to state laws, according to the laws of your region or country. Or go to a racetrack, rent, you know, have your McLaren or Lamborghini or Ferrari owner, you know, ask the racetrack, hey, can we do a 5-minute, 10-minute photo shoot where we do a couple laps, you know, around the track? And they might say yes, they might say no, but you'll never know until you ask. But yeah, give it a try. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Again, my name is Jamie Price. I'm a professional motorsport photographer, and I will see you in Daytona, Florida in a couple days.